that into account. I'm also informed for a field apart from the one at the industrial park. We have another one at a place called Kaga, which the other day we put some. We upgraded the road that goes to Kaga from Maram to Cabro standards. Then we come to the question asked by some questions. I think this was a follow-up, but by Senator Mumo. And the questions were, it was in refer to the table appearing on page 3.
Her name is Senator Muma.
Muma, sorry,
Yes.
we apologize. Yeah. So at page 3, we have a table there, and the question was, when you go to Keno, there's a missing figure there on 2025. Yes, we admit there was a clerical error. The actual amounts there is 30,520,000 on that call were made last financial year. So 25-26. 25-24 is 23.4. The other one is 30.52. A question was asked relating to this table by one of the senators, Mr. Chairman, concerning the mismatch between the allocated funds and the remittances. The answer to that is yes, it is true. There is always that mismatch, and it has to do with the money we budget from as conditional grant, in particular KUSIP. We will budget, but it does not come in that financial year, and therefore there will be underutilization because that money has not come in that financial year. Then we had another question, Mr. Chairman, from Honorable Tobiko, nominated senator from Kajiado, on the issue concerning delegation of functions, and the issue also concerning revenue and collection account. The answer to that is that we want to assure members that indeed we do have collectors of revenue at each municipality level who report to the municipality managers. And a question was asked as to whether is this a transfer of function or a delegation. And the answer is it is a delegation. Yes, you might find in this write-up where we make references to transfer. I think that's an error on our part when we were preparing the document, but the correct term is delegation. Even the first page, as you can see, the actual term ought to be delegation of function. A question was asked concerning whether the governor has overappointed people, about 3 members or 4. Is it 4 or is it 3? The correct position is that it is 3 members that the governor appointed. Maybe this other one is the element of the CCM and the CEO who sits there.
Point of order, Chair. Chair, the governor is glossing over our questions because on the mine was too wrong. Besides the issue of delegation and transfer, then I asked on the issue of revenue collection. He has hardly touched on the issue of revenue. He's just said each municipality has revenue collectors, but do they collect the revenue?
Chair, thank you for that. I will answer it from these
I
two
think we
angles.
will request you to use your finance guys. They can help you on that, actually, so they can a bit more faster.
Chair. Collection is, governor is on the right track.
Yeah.
But the issue is, collection means what? Are they depositing in municipality account or the still county government account? That is the issue. He needs to clarify.
Okay, proceed.
There is a dilemma there, Chair, because all our revenue is automated. So you will not have somebody there going to collect and then taking that money into an account by the municipality. What will happen, let's say you are in Keno, you will pay digitally your revenue, and that revenue will not go into what I would call a municipal account. It will now go to the larger the larger account, the revenue account for all sorts of. Well, let me, before CRF, there's a revenue account seated somewhere in Muranga for all sorts of revenue. So once you pay, let's say, parking in Keno, that's where your money will hit, and that money will be swept to CRF. So that money will not show. Yes, it will show where it has come from municipality X, because the platform is clearly indicating this is from a certain municipality. You'll be able also to know what each municipality is collecting. And we also have differentiated payment pathways that shows this is from municipality X, Y, Z. That one is there. But a physical account per se for a municipality, it is becoming superfluous once you digitize, because you just pay and that money goes to a certain revenue account, which then sweeps all the money to CRF. Maybe Professor Kiari can say something more on that.
Chair, allow me, Your Excellency, you might want to link that to the question I asked about Muranga actually having a revenue account. From what you've shown us, you talked about operational accounts. There was operational accounts. Which was the other? Special account. And then Muranga in particular had a revenue account.
Yes, we do have, and we look at this document page. We do have, but I think after digitization, where everyone now pays to one central, practically it becomes a little bit superfluous. What the digital system shows is where that money came from. Yeah, but it
means the Muranga revenue account should be redundant.
Yes, it is.
Or
it
should be closed or something.
It is dormant, and also it also speaks to a push by COP that counties should have fewer bank accounts. But allow me to yield to a professor to explain how it works.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Your Excellency the Governor. Just to reiterate what the Governor has said, it is true that from the 3 municipalities that we have, every municipality has a USSD code, which is able to be used by any person who is paying money, and the money goes directly to the Muranga County revenue account, which is held at Cooperative Bank. So from where we sit, if we add another layer of Keno or Kangari having their own account, would actually be adding to the bureaucracy, because that money will still be swept to the CRF, but the process would take longer. So for us, it's more efficient because we can reconcile and we can be able to see where all this money is coming from. We are able to know how much each municipality is contributing, even as we do the computations about how much they should be allocated. So the automation has helped us a lot in terms of adding or reducing that bureaucracy. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, kindly, I would want to hear from our legal. what's the position of the law? What is the anticipation of the law? What's the ideal situation? It's a delegated function, very specifically number 14, I checked. And now we are being told the county CRF, account. So here there seems to be a very clever way of all the county executive intertwining with the municipalities, so you can't tell who is doing what. You don't know who is reporting what. I don't know whether the municipalities do their own returns and their own budgets. And so from what the legal has had, please kindly, let's see how we can disengage and have the agencies operating as expected, and the county being the oversight that's supposed to be.
Through the chair, indeed, when you look at PFM, section 172, it does anticipate that where the function of revenue collection has been delegated by a city or an urban area, that there may be a possibility that to a certain extent that urban area can actually retain those funds and have them utilized at that level. But remember, the function of revenue collection is as may be delegated. It is not compulsory for the counties to delegate the function of revenue collection to municipalities. However, when they do, yes, when they do, as it has been indicated in their Gazette notice that they have delegated, it therefore follows that they need to actualize that delegation, because they have taken that step of actually delegating the function. So then they are bound by the provisions under the PFM when it comes to the utilization, or even, and that's why the PFM also talks about opening these particular accounts for the municipality. Yeah.
According to what we have now, the municipalities do not collect money. The revenue goes straight to the collection account, direct to the bank. It's automated. No, you're not.
No. I think if we are following up so that we understand this bit as well. Your Excellency, my understanding is that whatever system you have is able to demarcate the collection from a municipality. Therefore, to me, that would not be a problem. But I would want you to explain the operations account and the special purpose account, because that municipality is semi-autonomous. It's supposed to deliver on certain functions that you've delegated to them. So I would want to see having centralized collection, which is not a problem so long as you're able to distinguish that the funds from municipality X, let me just say my bit, you'll say yours, that the funds from X municipality Y municipality is here. I would want to know how that municipality is being functionalized to deliver on its function as was anticipated under the Urban Areas and Cities Act. And in my view, it's not clear on the operations account and special purpose account. The ordinary operations of these public entities would be recurrent. You are dealing with the administrative issues, possibly HR. And then there is development. We are delivering solid waste management. We are doing lights, parking, all of this. Which account, for purposes of Kenol Muranga, is holding the funds to enable this municipality to deliver on those functions?
Chair, I seek to disagree with the Vice Chair. We cannot apply the law selectively. It must you know, it must go with the spirit of the law. If it's a delegated function, then we need to see it implemented independently and separately by the agencies. They cannot be collecting to the CRF. They should be having their own accounts. They should be doing their own budgeting, implementing, and unless there is a formula of sharing that revenue, really what is expected is that the municipalities are collecting the revenue and even spending some at source, depending on the agreement with the county.
Exactly. So I would want to hear
Let's inquire.
what tools he has to
but
do.
as you say, he's your star governor, but then he should remain at that level of real star.
Order members, I think this is a very simple question. The finance guy is here. One thing we want to know is, after the money is collected, what goes back to the municipalities and at what percent? Is there any procedures that you use that you collect all the money in one place, received in, collected, it goes to account, and then it's budgeted for? How much money, what percent of that collection goes back to the municipalities?
Chair, kindly, maybe before the finance CCM comes to that, maybe legal should clarify. And I'm following up on Senator Tobiko's question. What does the law contemplate? What does it contemplate? A situation where once we delegate revenue collection to a municipality, that the said revenue, all of it is utilized autonomously. I mean, these particular this particular municipality is autonomous going forward to collect and expend the revenues so collected. Before now, the CCM finance says what they do. What does the law contemplate?
What's the spirit of the law?
I think.
No, legal must help us out
Okay,
here
to help
on
you.
this one.
Okay, let's listen to her. Let's proceed and be quick a bit. You are going now to multimedia now.
Okay, maybe I can just read what section 1.
Just read the BVM Act.
Yes. Section 172 of the Public Finance Management Act provides that the title is Financing of Urban Areas or Cities. Subject to the Constitution and any other act of Parliament, and with the approval of the County Assembly, an urban area or city may be funded through any of the following sources. A, revenue arising from rates, fees, levies, charges, and other revenue-raising measures, which is retained by the urban area or city for the purposes of defraying its cost for providing services. B, revenue allocated by the county government to the urban area or city. C, investment income. D, grants and donations. Or E, borrowing as provided for under Section 140 of this Act. Under A, it says that revenue arising from rates, fees, levies, charges, and other revenue-raising measures, which is retained by the urban area or city for the purpose of defraying its costs for providing services.
Underline the word retained.
Which may be retained.
Yes.
So actually what we need to know is what arrangement does Murang'a have for purposes of facilitating municipalities to have the funds necessary to carry out their functions. So you will be able to tell us whether you are utilizing 172.1, is it A or 1? A, whether you have operationalized A, whether you have operationalized B, and so on. And the reason I say so, and but I don't take kindly to the comments made by Senator Tobiko, is that an upcoming urban areas may require 100% allocation from 2 in order for it to operate. So we need to, what we need to find out is what formula is Murang'a using to actually operationalize this?
Your Excellency, I think it's a very simple thing. I know you have a centralized kind of collection that everything is automated. After that, when you collect the money, how do you distribute the money back to the municipalities, the source, where the money came from? No.
Chair, the question is, money is collected at the municipality level and it may be retained.
That's okay, I understand it.
Then, Chair, the governor said that it is not the issue of transfer, it is delegated. What he's saying, what is in this document is typo error or wrong. So let's talk about delegated, not transfer. I think he has made it very clear, Chair.
No, one thing I'm saying is, the money is actually automated, collected, taken to one account, okay? And thereafter, it's been utilized now for the purpose of utilization for different municipalities. That's how I understand it.
Yeah, and it is on page 13.
Yeah, am I right?
It is very clear.
Tell us how you go about those things. You collect the money, it's automated, it goes to an account. What happens next?
Chair, thank you so much for your good questions. Let me start with your question.
Yes.
Once the money is collected by the municipalities, they are supposed to give us a budget, which they do. They meet as a board, they tell us, this is what we want to be done using whatever amount we have expended. Of course, we have the constant, what I would call recurrence. That is salaries. That goes without saying. But now the key issue comes to development. Now, development, and I think that's where maybe this item may not adequately capture what happens in our municipalities, is because you have development as per budgeted by the respective municipality boards. So you'll find, for instance, well, just to give you an example, let's say Kang'ata will budget, let's say, 10 million or 15 million per annum. So when you look at this write-up, that's what we will happen. And it is them who will do the procurement. They will do a singular, we will do a singular advert. People will apply, but what is for executive will be done by the executive. For the municipal board, they will come up with a committee. They have their procurement people, they have the engineer, they will do the evaluation, then a person will get an award from there, and that will happen. However, that fails to capture other support the executive renders to the municipalities, because in the main budget we have money for infrastructure, which, because municipalities fall in certain wards, so you'll find the executive, through some recommendation often through the members of the county assembly, will also support other infrastructural projects in the same municipalities. Also, we have some donor funds that go specifically to the municipalities. In fact, from a practical point of view, we have received some, for lack of a better word, some noise from other wards where they see as if the county executive is favoring these three urban areas, because they will not only budget the year money, which they have planned, but will also support them using the infrastructural projects. Maybe to give you just an example, in the last financial year, you will find Keno municipality. In the main budget here, the one they planned, I think amount was 10 million. That meant we did two, what we call cabro works in Keno municipality. That's 2 tenders, 5 million, 5 million. Then the main executive, in the same year, we put 35 million to do cabro works. I know my senator comes from there. You'll find accelerated cabro works and tamaking in Keno I'm sure he knows Keno CBD. He knows a place called Menta Sacco, Kaga, OJ. Currently, we have Gadhanji happening. We have PK. We have Karugu also happening. We have the one going down to Jerusalem. So all those are, you'll find more activities in Keno in comparison to other places. The same also applies in Morangata. $10 million again, but now you find more works being done in the municipalities in comparison and non-municipality areas. Thank you.
Chair, that's a good answer, but Chair, kindly let me seek some clarification.
Give us many questions. Let him answer all the questions
If
first.
we can.
The other, I wanted just to...
I wanted to know, Chair, you know the very first table that appears on the response by the governor? It's talking about...
Order. You to know we have asked a lot of questions. Let's finish questions and then we'll do round 2 for more questions again.
Oh, no. You
know,
know,
as if you continue interrupting.
It's just a clarification on that
Okay,
particular one.
go ahead.
And Chair, I can assure you I'll not bother you with irrelevant questions. So I'm just wondering, having listened to the response by the governor, that these municipalities collect a revenue to a central fund. Then, if they have a budget, they present the same to the executive. And Chair, we have a table, the very first table talking about delegation of functions. So, I'm not taking you back. I just wanted to know exactly then what is delegated. Exactly. If this municipality to present a budget to the executive, then on the executive for every other item of expenditure. So is there really delegation? It's actually a yes. Question.
No.
So that Senator there, then
Chair, and just to follow up on what he has said, Chair, the governor and I know that we will meet in the civic committee. And when we meet at the civic committee, this will definitely be one of the audit queries by OAG. He knows that. So we can OAG on this specific issue about independently, and they have no
Yes, I think allow me, Chair, to give some remarks, then I will yield to 2 other people. The one will be CC, Professor, then my other CC, Lance, will also say something. First, my understanding to the query, particularly the legal aspect of it, is that we are yet to settle what is the meaning of the word may. So, because on our part, we believe may means, may does not mean shall. Yeah, shall means you must do it. May means it's upon us to decide what we delegate. That's 1. 2, there's a second issue of what is the meaning of an account. Maybe in a bank account written Muranga town account, written Keno account. But with the evolution of technology, it can also mean an USSD, which what we believe we have created, and which clearly shows where that money is coming from and how much each municipality is collecting. And for avoidance of doubt, apart from us now coming to the Senate for justifying, but municipalities also undergo review by the World Bank to see whether they qualify for what we call, let's say, KUSIP grants. And some of them, they will come and look at those very good questions which are being asked, and they will see, insofar as creation of those accounts, it can be deemed as we have adhered to those rules. Maybe the other dilemma, legal dilemma hearing, is whether they are operating as envisaged by the law in terms of delegation, Chair. Once they meet, there are several things they do independently. One, we have said, they are the one who will identify which project to be done using their funds. That's not us. They'll just come up with, say this is what to be done, and then that has to be funded by the money they collect. But if it's not sufficient, then the county government will then add more to plug in that deficit in the budget using our own thing. As to whether maybe they should expend at source, where you directly expend. In procurement, strictly speaking, because they have their own procurement departments, that happens. They even have their own engineers. But the practical drawing of the money from that main account, now there's another section of the law, the PFM Act, which requires a specific law, which so far is yet to be created for us to be able to allow them to do that. Unlike what happens in the hospitals, which this Senate, in its wisdom, created a very specific law. So we will be a little bit reluctant as a county government to allow that until that law is done as you did with the hospitals. Is it desirable? Maybe there I would leave it to the wisdom of the Senate to see whether that's desirable to allow them to expend at source. But definitely from where I see it, I see a distinction between hospitals and municipalities. Why your hospital did a good job was that the emergency nature of hospital service. You cannot go to a hospital and the doctor has to await the approval of the money to be expended from the Chief Officer of Finance. That would take time and it involves the lives of people. As to the municipality, maybe we can await whether you'll be able to come up with a law. We will seek you, we'll wait for you. But allow me to yield to Professor to explain more.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Your Excellency. Just to add a few points to what the Governor has said. Maybe the first is to point out that the municipalities are working very closely with the county government. And actually, in the last audit of the Office of the Auditor General, Kagari municipality and Keno municipality got an unqualified audit opinion. And so we are in this transition process because, as the Governor has said, Kangari and Keno have only been operational for the last 2 years. If we make them fully autonomous now, I think it will be to the disadvantage of the municipalities, because if you look at what, for instance, Kagari collects, it's collecting 48 million. But when you look at what the county spends from the main budget for Kangari, it's much more than 48 million. Because, for instance, just for the community projects alone, which sit in the main budget of the county, Kangari last financial year, it got 30 million from the community project. If you calculate all the money it got from the smart cities, it's much more than 48. So if we make it autonomous now, and we kind of try to delink it from the main county executive budget, it will actually disadvantage the municipality. So I think we are in this transition process where we are trying to support them. Maybe in future, once they grow and they become really successful in terms of money, then the county would actually be very happy to say that we can take a back seat and then let them use the resources. But for now, we need to help them to grow. Because as the governor said, every municipality sits in a ward. We have 35 wards. And once we are allocating the budget, we make sure that the allocation to the wards is very equitable. For instance, if we say every ward is getting 30 million, that 30 million is also going to the municipality. So I think we're in this transition process where the municipalities are part of an integrated whole. The integrated whole is the county, which is trying as much as possible to be efficient. So in future, we might want to delink once the municipalities become successful. But for now, we would ask for a bit of latitude where we are allowed to help them grow until they're able to walk on their feet. Thank you.
Just to say, this committee is not asking for municipalities to delink. Municipalities are part of the county. So you can't talk about county and vis-a-vis municipality. What we would want is that municipalities, as anticipated under the urban areas and cities, are actually operationalized in that manner. Nothing stops Governor from sitting with your cabinet on Monday and on Tuesday sitting with board members of municipalities. So the operation, as though it is an adversarial arrangement, rather than one of your arms for service delivery in the county, is what is problematic. Actually, the question was, what does delegated mean? So did you do the Gazette notice for the record? Or what did you want when you put there that you are delegating? And how are you implementing that section 172 of the PFMA? How are you implementing the Urban Areas and Cities Act? That is actually what this committee is interested in seeing, how we actually functionalize these entities actually that pre-existed devolution, and the constitution retained them as not another level of devolution, and the more you treat them as if they are away, the more, for your information, the caucus has been thinking that they should get a direct allocation from National Assembly to operate as if they are a third tier of devolution, which we have said no to, because they are part and parcel of the county government. So the question is, how are you effectively doing delegation? That is the question that people are asking here. And we need that taken seriously and actually contemplated, not as a matter of the future. We are on the 14th year since starting to implement devolution. So it is something that all counties need to think through and see how to implement.
Chair, I just wanted, sorry. Yeah, our first questions has not been answered, but there is something very important we need to agree on, Chair. Chair, the gazettement notices are legally binding. These are Gazette Notice 10, 101, 89, 167, 58, 18590. The Gazette Notice clearly says transfer of functions. It has been transferred. But the governor said that is not a transfer, it's a mistake. So my question is this, we have a legal officer here. Do we need, again, as the county government needs to do another Gazette Notice to change this from transfer to delegation? Because if it remains like this, it is legally binding. You either need to change, or if you keep it this way, the municipalities should manage collection and use of that money at the municipality level.
Can he finish plus the remaining question so that we then ask the next round?
Yes. Your Excellency, you have questions you have not answered, or you are through with it.
No, we do have.
Please, just go on through it. Answer them very fast.
Thank you, Chair. There was a question that was asked about Keno membership, that Keno seems to have 6 members. Yeah, the answer is 1 member passed on. We're in the process of replacing the late Reverend Dorongo. Then we have the question of delay. That is, when you look at the dates, when the Gazette was done, and then when you look at the date when the delegation of function was done, there appears to be a mismatch, or rather a delay. The answer to that, Chair, is that it takes time to set up a municipality. You need to build an office, you need to recruit staff, and you need to train them. That has been the reason why there has always been some delay. Kangari, for instance, we had to build a new building from the scratch. We had to advertise, and advertisement to recruit managers involves even several other entities, and that's the reason we really had that issue. Then there was the question concerning the cost of how we are running these entities. When you look at the cost versus the revenue, and the question was, are we running, if it was a business, are we running it using prudent fiscal rules? Now that it appears the cost seems to be higher than the amount that we are deploying. The answer is we are on a transition stage. Even a business takes time for it to reach a stage where you are able to get enough revenue vis-a-vis the money you are expending. That's why, from a development point of view, the county government has been adding more resources to the municipalities to ensure there is a markup, or rather an accelerated aspect of that. But particularly Keno, I think Keno has been on a positive trajectory. When you look at page 3, you look at the money they collected in the 2024-2025, it was 98 million. And that was the year that it was established. But next financial year, that has gone to 128 million. That shows exponential growth for Keno municipality, which we hope it will remain on the same trajectory. In fact, now Keno has superseded Murang'a municipality, which has been an old municipality since times many years ago. Then let me yield to my CCM if there is anything that we have missed.
Thank you, Chair, and members of the committee. I think there had been a question on what it means to delegate. Functions. One is there has to be infrastructure that the municipality is responsible for, or where they're operating from. 2, we have to have the team that undertakes the functions within the municipalities. And I think the very last table in our presentation has a summary of the core functions within the municipalities that are undertaken. And have teams from the administration team, the finance team, public health, social services, infrastructure, and the like. So without those teams in place, we can't effectively be able to delegate. The other bit is, as we delegate those functions, they have to be supported. And looking at the two budgets that have been prepared for 24-25 and 25-26, we've had specific allocations, unlike before where municipalities were sitting within the Department of Urban. They are now independent items within the budget lines, having their own votes, so that they can be able to expend and be able to implement the projects that are within their budget lines. And the last thing is on the implementation of those specific budgets. Typically, we'd have officers within the the executive undertake these functions on behalf of the municipalities. But right now, implementation of the budget is basically by officers who sit within the municipalities, and they are guided by the municipality manager. So for any project, any implementation works, we have the municipality manager guiding, of course being oversighted by the municipality boards. Thank you, Chair.
Chair. The question I asked, the last one, on the Gazette notices, what are we supposed to do? That was a question I asked the governor.
Oh, you can remember the question?
Yes, I remember the question is, if I'm not wrong, my understanding, the senator is suggesting there was an error on the way we crafted that gazette. We seem to have used the word transfer as opposed to delegation. Chair, we will relook into it. I will consult the lawyers in the team, and if there was an error, we can always correct it through maybe a fresh Kenya Gazette.
Maybe on the same point. There's a problem I've seen that in a charter, the power to appoint boards is actually attributed to the CEC. And contrary to Section 14 of the urban areas and cities, the power is for the governor, in the governor's circle, with approval of the county assembly. So I know where the CEC comes in appointment of boards. So that is part of your charter. Also, that is an error that you need to look again. Okay, is that okay? Yeah.
Chair.
No, okay.
Thank you, Chair. We can correct it.
Okay.
Chair, no, the governor did not answer. I had a question about the types of accounts in the municipality. Special purpose account usually is one that might be demanded by donors, usually to hold funds for maybe conditional grants or additional accounts. And then you have operational accounts. What I'm asking is, how come if counties are semi-autonomous, if municipalities are semi-autonomous as they ought to be, where is the development fund account? You have operational, and then you have operational special, operational and special purpose. You don't have any development account, or what is the practice in Murang'a? And Chair, allow me while I have the mic to ask the other question. I've looked at this annual plan for 2025-2026 for Keno, and I don't know whether it's me who does not know. You allocated, Keno allocated 25 million for maintenance of urban bitumen roads, urban drainage systems, curb roads, walkways, upgraded bus parks, approved zonal plans. But from the CUSP monies, you allocated a whopping 39.3 million for the municipal handbook indicators. Does that seem to make sense even for the ordinary? I don't know how to do these things. That development of a manual will cost 39.3 million, but the collection of maintaining roads and drainage and all of this would be 25 million. So maybe it may not be the job of this to scrutinize in the detail, but Governor, just pointing out to you some of these annual plans and what is happening, I don't know whether that makes sense.
Chair, sorry, I'm not aware of such kind of an allocation. Maybe let me send my chief officer to recheck, but I want to.
Is looking at it, can I ask?
I think we would want to be shown the specific item so that we are able to see. You have such.
Chair, can I?
Your Excellency, apologies. I think this is a combination of recurrent and all the recurrent and admin costs that has here.
Chair, I have very quick 3 questions, very important questions. Remember, the chair's caucus, municipality chair caucus came before the committee. And the issues they've raised is that they don't have that autonomy. Even functions that has been transferred, they cannot manage those functions. Again, they talked about even having meetings. Everything is being managed by the county governments, not only your county, but all the county governments. I want to, yes. So I wanted your contribution on that one. Number 2, since the formation of municipalities, the 3 municipalities, your own sales revenue, has it increased? If yes, by what percentage? Because I'm looking at, we have municipalities. Are these municipalities adding value in terms of financial terms? Finally, Chair, you remember county governors are complaining about transferred functions by the national government to the counties. Those functions are not being followed by funding. So isn't it appropriate if I say the county governments also are doing the same to municipalities? They are transferring functions but not followed by financing. What is the difference? Because you've been complaining about national government transferring functions but no financial following. So what is the difference? Because it is the same thing, the same way the national government is treating the counties also are treating municipalities in the same way. So as a star governor, 5-star governor, what do you think other counties can do?
Poor governor, I don't know why I use that.
We have a lot of respect for him. He's supposed to be an example for other counties also. So what can be done so that once you transfer functions and autonomy, autonomy should be also reached in terms of having municipalities managing their own things? Thank you.
Maybe to add on that, we know that constitutionally the municipalities are supposed to do business on your behalf of the county. And that's why maybe you're delegating most of the times. But the thing is, constitutionally, the municipalities are supposed to be there and functional. And he's rightly said, from all the governors that appeared here, they could not explain why they don't want to release funds to the municipalities. Why don't you just come up with a budget that at least makes the municipalities to work on their own? Because they come under the CEC, I think lands, I don't know what. Everything is being done through that office. The municipal manager has no business. The board has no business other than just approving, whatever the CEC has brought to the attention. So I think that is not going to work. You're getting the World Bank money and the COSIP thing, all this is coming through those municipalities. But those guys have no authority. They are non-functional almost. So do you really need to have municipalities? According to your understanding, Your Excellency. Because 13 years down the line, municipalities are not working. I think it's only in Cliffy that we saw there's a bit of...
They were talking even allowances. It's not there.
Yes. So I think... I don't know what is the problem. What is the challenge? I mean, there's so many times we ask the question that the government don't want to release funds to municipalities. Even if they're going to release, they must manage it again by the CECs. So what will the board do? What will the CEO and the municipality do? What is their function?
Yeah, can I go on record?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I lost my voice.
Go ahead.
Senator Ezena Lemalichian, from a member of the committee. Thank you.
I think what I want to point out, give us the solution to this problem. Because we have asked many governors and they left us without any response, proper response. What we want is a functional municipality. So how do you achieve that?
Okay, thank you so much. My understanding to all those questions, Chair, is they center on more of a philosophical, moral question. Yeah, and therefore, I will, if you'll allow me, I will combine them cumulatively to try to answer them.
Yeah, I thought you guys are those keys are full of praise for Wanga County and the village. A lot of things have been done. Digital things have been done. They want us other things also to learn from you. So I think you should start. I say municipalities will be able to do ABCD. That is, they are going to do ABCD after you leave here. You'll come up with a program on how best municipalities can work.
Okay, the first point I'll say is that I think there is the importance of municipalities remain from where I sit. In fact, I think the importance will continue growing as time goes on. Why? Because Kenya is projected to become highly urbanized. Africa is becoming highly urbanized. In the next 20, 30 years, it is projected half of African population, including Kenya, will be in urban areas. Murang'a urbanization rate currently is about 30%. That means in the next 20 years, 20% of people of Murang'a will move to Keno, to Kangari. It will move to Murang'a. But I think the draft out of the Constitution, one of the things they probably forgot to consider is a realization that there is a joinder of power and elections. I say so because in other jurisdictions, you will not only delegate that power, but you will have to ensure whoever is holding that position has a popular mandate. A mayor who is elected by the people. Is it desirable for Kenya to therefore then create maybe some elective positions so that we have proper delegation? I would say no, incidentally, because the dangers that can pose, including competition of power. Yeah, I think we need to empower municipalities as provided in the law, and that's why I support what this committee is doing to push us to give them more autonomy. So what the solution? One is that before an area is fully deemed as a municipality, care be given so that you don't give an area that is not, for lack of a better word, viable as a municipality, the charter. Because remember, a new unit means more taxes. And no one loves taxes. No business person loves taxes, unless one sees a correlation between taxes and that one. Two, I think counties, including their own budget, which we hold, is that they need to send more resources in our municipalities in a strategic manner, vis-a-vis other places, other wards, because ultimately, even the people in the rural areas, they come to the urban areas to seek some service, whether a school, whether a hospital, whether a shop. And as a county, there's a program that we have conceived that is purely for urban areas, the one we call Smart City Program, where we tarmac and put cabros in our urban areas, envisaging a situation where more Murang'a people will go to the urban areas as opposed to the reverse. But as to this law now, the legal aspect which this committee really pushed, where we ensure we follow the law in terms of proper delegation, proper opening up of accounts. I think that because the law is law, we have to do it. We have taken your advice, we have noted your sentiment. I think the more we come here, the more we also learn, and the pressure you put on us, it also makes us, when we go home, we ensure we have all the proper documents, and we hope next time we come here, we will find a more fully functioning municipal entity. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, I think the issues I had have been addressed. Only I don't have to ask some questions here. Maybe behind the tent I'll ask the governor where the cemetery for Kang'ata is, because I don't know where it exists. I didn't know Kang'ata municipality. Physically that is, which I don't have to ask here because the committee will not even know. I did not know that for Keno there is one in...
Is a senator for Murang'a serious, really?
Yes. Why Senator Chute?
Order, Chute.
You know, like the governor said...
Sorry, proceed, don't answer.
Yes. You know, Senator Chute is mischievous. Why I'm asking that, I'm saying that, Chair, I'm not displaying my ignorance. Where the governor said the cemetery for Keno is, it cannot be less than 15 kilometers away. So just looking at it, you wouldn't know that is why it exists. And that's why I'm saying I don't need to ask some questions here. Maybe the governor can tell me for Kang'ata, maybe it is somewhere in Kenyona, somewhere in Maire. Yeah, so Chair, I think I'm satisfied with the responses that we have received.
Chair, my question has not been answered. You remember I asked about on-source revenue? No, you cannot close. He has not answered. Yeah, but I think the governor wants to talk about on-source revenue. If there are any increment because of having municipalities, that's a very important question.
And development accounts.
I think you've understood my question, Governor.
Question?
Yes, I think the question was, once we put the municipality, have we seen an increment of own source revenue? The answer is yeah, specifically to the municipalities, Keno. I think Keno is a star performer. But for the rest, we need to give them time. Particularly Kang'ata, we wait and see, it's very young. For Murang'a, it has been constant. In fact, it is there in the document. You can see it is pure constant. Only Keno, where we have seen a positive correlation between establishment and an increment of revenue. As to whether development account, apart from donor funds, which municipalities have a special purpose account, for the other, no, we don't. There's a technical angle to it.
How do you fund the development project?
You know, once everything goes to CRF, then you cannot then denote amount and you take it to a municipality. You wait until the requisition is done, you expend it from CRF.
That is the evidence that you are yet to delegate the functions of the municipality, because what was envisaged by Urban Areas and Cities Act, that the municipality will have its accounts to be able to plan, budget against that, and actually expend. But what is happening is that they are being managed, their development projects are being managed from the center.
One thing I found out is that when a certain municipality is performing very well, and they see that their money is going to a common coffer to develop other parts, definitely they will resist to contribute more. So I think you need to have some incentive. So a certain amount of money to be brought back to where it came from. If that will be able to, give incentive to the tax collection and the sales collection. Probably you didn't think that way, to motivate the contributors of the tax, of the sales. Maybe that's my thinking. But of course, I'm not compelling to do that.
That's not a chair, though, as I had said, the 3 municipalities of Murang'a, a point has been even raised by even other members of the county assembly. They do receive a higher proportion of development, far much higher in comparison to other areas. Like now, let's say Kang'ata. I think Kang'ata, we did works within the CBD of Kang'ata, a place called Githumu, another one called in Kenyona. Yeah, when you came to Keno, again, every year you will find more accelerated development by the county government vis-a-vis other neighboring rural wards. The same happens also in Murang'a town, CBD, township ward. You find more work being done in township ward vis-a-vis other areas. So the point is, we are even happy now we are receiving a Senate approval of that plan, because we'll be able to tell our colleagues in the assembly when they see those 3 wards having an accelerated support, it is actually what is envisaged in the law and what the Senate committee has been urging us to do.
Okay. Thank you so much, Your Excellency and your team, and thank you for your time. Okay, if there's no any other business, sir? If there have been no other business, then I will excuse the governor and his team at their own pleasure. Thank you so much, and we look forward again seeing you. Is there another business? You won't have? You should look. It's better for me who's away. It's better for me when I'm away. You say just look. Okay, members.